I'm Bill Monroe, and welcome to the very first Strokecast video tutorial. In this video, I want to talk about sticky keys, an accessibility feature within Windows that is what enables me to type as efficiently as I do today. So let's get started here. To begin with, we're going to talk about a few different things related to sticky keys. What sticky keys is, we're going to talk about why this feature matters, and then we're going to spend the bulk of the time on how to enable it and how to fine-tune some of the functions. So to begin with, what is sticky keys? Sticky keys relies on modifier keys, and it is what makes them work when you have limited dexterity. A modifier key is a key that changes what another key on the keyboard does. For example, if you open a document in your favorite word processor and you press the letter B, it's going to give you a lowercase b. If instead you hold down the Shift key while you press the B, you'll get a capital B. The Shift key is a modifier key. It modifies the function of the letter B. It works with other keys as well. So for example, if you tap the letter I in that Word document, you're going to get a lowercase I. If instead you hold down the Control key while you tap I, you're going to change all of the following text into italics. Again, the Control key modified the other key. It modified the letter I to change the font style. Alt and the Windows logo key are also other modifier keys as well. Now, most of the time when we use these keys, we don't really think about it. We just hold down the one key while we tap the other. And that's great when you have two fully functioning hands. But not everybody does. And that's where sticky keys comes in. It lives within the accessibility features of Windows 10 because it's an accessibility feature. It's designed to help folks with dexterity issues, whether that may be, say, arthritis in one wrist, maybe somebody sprained a wrist and is not able to use their hand for a few weeks, or it could be somebody like many of our listeners here who are dealing with a stroke and now have the use of only one hand. With sticky keys enabled, it means I can very easily type capital letters when I want, lowercase letters when I want. I can access things like copy, paste, cut, all of that much more easily. And I can type with one hand at up to 30 words a minute because the modifier keys stick now when I tap them. And that's why it's called sticky keys. So it's designed to make typing more accessible for folks with physical challenges. So let's take a look now at how we go ahead and turn on this feature so you can start using it today. To begin with, what we're going to do is let's go ahead and jump back now to my desktop so you can actually see how I'm going to go ahead and access these different features. So let's get that out of the way. And get that out of the way, and get that out of the way. And now I'm going to go ahead and tap the Windows, click on the Windows search button. We also call this the Cortana button. It sits right next to the Windows logo. But go ahead and click on that. And now we can search for sticky keys. So just type sticky keys in the search box here. And this is actually a really powerful search tool. It can go ahead and search all of your documents, search all of your settings, search all sorts of different things within Windows. But you see what it pulls up first is the suggestion is turn on easy access keys, which is sort of the newer name for this setting. But sticky keys has been around for several versions of Windows. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And now this opens this dialog box, this set of options that's designed to make keyboard use easier, make the keyboard easier to use. And there's a lot of things in here, including turn on mouse keys, which actually lets you use your number pad instead of a mouse if you prefer or have a need for that. But the one I want to focus on here is, of course, make it easier to type. And this is going to be sticky keys. Now, mine is already checked. In your machine, it may not be checked already. So you want to go ahead and check that to turn on sticky keys. And now it tells you right here what it does. It lets you press the keyboard shortcuts such as Control, Alt, and Delete one key at a time. So instead of having to hold down all three, which is difficult with one hand, you can do them in succession. So let's take a closer look at the options. Here we have Set Up Sticky Keys. So we're going to click on that, and that takes us to these detailed options. Again, we want to make sure we check the box to turn on sticky keys. And now, keyboard shortcut. So the way most people actually encounter sticky keys for the first time is that they turn it on accidentally. And then they get annoyed because it starts beeping whenever they start tapping and it doesn't do quite what they want. Usually that's because they've pressed the Shift key 5 times. I find that kind of annoying and as a toggle, so let's make sure that's not selected. And then we can get to the options. And this lets you lock the modifier keys when pressed twice in a row. It's the first checkbox under options here. Select that. The reason you want to do this is that it makes it easier to type things with all capitals in rapid succession. So, for example, the way sticky keys normally works is if I want a capital N, I can tap the Shift key and then the letter N, and I get a capital N. And then the rest of my letters are just normal. With this option checked, that means I can tap the Shift key twice, and now it stays stuck. So if I wanted to write out NASA, now I tap the Shift key twice in a row, and then I can just type NASA, and all 4 letters will be in capitals. So it makes it a lot faster. If you don't have that option selected, what you have to do to type a word in all capitals would be tap Shift, then tap N, then tap Shift, then tap A, then tap Shift, then tap S, then tap Shift, then tap A. And that gets to be super annoying. So have the lock modifier keys when pressed twice in a row, and you can just tap Shift, Shift, NASA, and you write out NASA. So that gives you some real nice flexibility. I also like to remove the check mark from this box under option where it says turn off sticky keys when 2 keys are pressed at once. That's important because sometimes the keys are really close together. So instead of typing Shift then L, I might still hold down the Shift key while I tap the L. If you have this box selected, that will turn off sticky keys when you do that. And you don't want to do that because then that gets annoying. So make sure that box is not selected. I also like to remove the check mark from the box play sound when modifier keys are pressed, because otherwise if you have a check mark in that box, you're going to continue to get beeps every time you go ahead and tap the Shift, the Control, or the Alt key, and that's going to get quite annoying if you do a lot of typing. So once you have your options set, and I'd encourage you to go ahead and play with it on your own as well, you can go ahead and click OK, and that will then go ahead and lock those settings in place, and then takes you back to the first dialog box we came to, and then you can tap OK, and there you go. That's all you have to do to go ahead and enable sticky keys. So now, when I type, I only have to go ahead and tap the Shift key and then the capital letter I want to type, and then I can continue tapping lowercase keys. So instead of holding down the Shift key or holding down the Control key or holding down the Alt key, all you have to do is tap it and then tap the next key. It makes it so much easier to type in mixed case. It makes it so much easier to go ahead and use the clipboard by using Control Tap C to copy, Control Tap X to cut, tap Control Tap V to paste. All of that becomes so much more accessible when you start using sticky keys. So give it a try, especially if you have use of only one hand. Makes it a lot easier to type. And go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And be sure to check out the Strokecast podcast at strokecast.com or in your favorite podcast app. Go ahead and subscribe for free there so you never miss an episode. Of course, as always, don't get best, get better. Thanks a lot. I'm Bill Monroe, and I'll talk to you soon.